million millionaires we're about to create in the United States.
Paul, that all sounds great. But how can the average person take advantage of today's new technologies, build a business, and still have time for their families?
That phenomenon with home-based business is just getting started, and it's being led by the people who start companies. Underlying the shift to home-based business is a massive shift in technology. When I got out of school 30 years ago, they made tools for people who worked in big companies. Today, they're focused on an individual user making an individual Apple or IBM PC and a better and better tool for that person, and that person's totally connected to every other PC through the internet. And you see right away that the unit of technology has changed from an IBM 370 mainframe that cost $2 million and served hundreds of thousands of people to a $400, $500. Sometimes you could really splurge on a PC today and spend $1,000 and get something much more powerful than the IBM 370 mainframe of before. But more important, when you have that powerful computer tool, you're at the cutting edge. You can now do business far better than someone who's working in a large company, who has to deal with the overhead, has to deal with getting to work every day. I mean, 25% of the workday is spent just getting to and from work. And then another 50% inside the workplace is wasted having a good time talking to people. But some people go, I really don't want to have a good time in this office. I want to be with my kids. I want to take them out and play. I want to work at home, and I want to go to work on the 30 seconds it takes me to walk to the area of my home I call my home office. I want to do my work in an hour or two, and I want to get back to be with my family. And for those people, home-based business today is not just a lifestyle, it's also the most efficient way to do business. And it's all driven by the fact that the unit of technology that everyone's focusing on to make better is not a mainframe computer or a big office building. It's a person individually working one-on-one, either alone or in an office, but obviously that person can work much better at home.
Working from home sounds great. I know you work from home. So what do you love the most about working out of your house?
I love working at home, and I love it the most when my daughter or son comes in and goes, "What are you doing, Daddy?" And they know that I'm on the phone. They have to wait. And that makes it more special because since they're not allowed to talk when I'm working on the phone, they wait a few minutes. And then when I'm done and put the phone down, boy, are they excited. Because not only am I focused on them, I made it valuable that time we're about to spend together. They don't just take for granted that Daddy's there to take them biking, take them skiing, and do all the great things we do. They know I work, they see me work, and they really appreciate the time even more that I spend with them as I do. There's not a chance I could ever do that if I had to go to an office or work outside of a home. And why the real values of a home-based business, even though most people today do it because they make the most money with the least amount of overhead, the real values come from having your family watch you work, and as they age, if they choose to come into the business and work with you.
That's incredible. Being able to do business, yet spending valuable time with your kids. Is that what direct selling is all about? In your new book, you really single out direct selling as the preeminent form of home business that will produce so many of these new millionaires. So what is at the core of direct selling that makes it such a powerful business for our times?
If you talk to a manufacturer today, they will tell you that the greatest bottleneck they have is not the great new products they make. It's how to teach people that they exist. People like to do things the old way. They learn something like, I just learned how to do that, but there's a new method. No, it can't be. I learned it only 3 months ago. If it must be new to me, don't tell me there's something new. People fight change. We all have this nostalgic, like just because grandma did it that way, it must be better. It's interesting. From baking to driving or anything, we have this nostalgic view that the good old days were better. Well, the good old days had manure in the streets, diphtheria, polio was the big thing. You went to church on Sunday and prayed when they told you a third of the kids would get polio that it wasn't your kid. That's how good the good old days were. The days today are so much better, and yet people have this nostalgic leaning for the old days, and that causes them to fight change. They don't want to learn a new method. They're going to shut down. They fight learning new things. They look for things that reinforce the old method. And television, radio, surfing the internet, even reading a book or magazine to some extent is something they do passively that is not where they're going to learn a new way of doing something. The only way we have currently that teaches people the new method is one-on-one communication. Something happens that my biology friends say has to do with pheromones, where they meet someone and there's something in a one-on-one meeting in a room. It's why people fly across the country, even though we all have video conferencing in business, but they have to fly to go meet someone for something real important, because there's something that we don't know how it all goes, but when the people get one-on-one, that's when you got a chance to change the way someone's doing something. Anyone professional in sales will tell you if you're changing or selling the first sale, the first product, you better be in front of the person. That's the power of direct selling. Direct selling is both the oldest method of sales or communications before any type of technology, but it's also the new and the only method we have today to change someone's paradigm, to teach them about a new product, new service, new method, new way of doing something that they weren't going to get by just reading a magazine, by going on the internet and surfing, and certainly not by watching television. It's the opportunity that we see so many Fortune 500 companies jumping onto, because the Fortune 500 companies are realizing that they come out with these new products and services. Their engineers do a tremendous job designing and building the product, but then they have no way to tell the customer it's really a different or better product other than one-on-one communication. And there's something so truthful about one-on-one communication. You can't lie. You can always get someone to make up one ad or one type of TV commercial and claim this or claim that and multiply it by millions. But it doesn't work one-on-one because one person goes out and throws out some new idea and the person goes, that doesn't make any sense to me. You demoralize them. Next person, that doesn't make any sense to me. And all of a sudden, after 3-4 times, the guy doesn't want to go out and sell it anymore because he knows it's not making sense to the people they're communicating with. So we find that direct selling is both a pure and the best and most efficient method of teaching people about new products and services that will improve their lives. And it's no longer people doing direct selling like it might have been 30, 40, 50 years ago outside of the big companies. We see the largest corporations in America lining up to get their products distributed via direct selling. Direct sales seems to be the wave of the 21st century and how people are going to distribute new products and services. And the greatest opportunity is going to be in products and services that don't yet exist. People in direct sales tell me, Paul, what should I be selling 10 years from now? I go, ask me 5 years from now because that's when it's going to be invented.
So you can't see into the future, huh? But you can make predictions by recognizing historic economical trends. You've spent your life researching these trends and teaching millions how to take advantage of them. As an educator, you inspire, motivate, and most importantly, teach people how to better themselves. Is this why you're truly dedicated to the direct selling industry?
One of the things I like so much about direct selling is that people think they're learning some business or some product, but what they're really learning is how to learn new things. Direct selling, someone spends some time and teaches you something and is really teaching you not just to know how to do it, but how to go out and teach it to other people. And in doing so, they're also increasing your generic skill base in your ability to learn new things and then to teach other people new things.
Okay, Paul, one last question if you don't mind. Bottom line, what made you take time out of your incredibly busy schedule to write The Next Millionaires and to do this interview with us today? What's the real mission in it for you?
It is my sincerest hope that in the knowledge that you've learned here today, some of that knowledge will spur you to take action to becoming one of these new 10 million millionaires. Because while you go out to become a millionaire often for your own gain or your own family or to spend more time with your kids, ultimately the people that drive our economy, the people that make the best food, housing, shelter, and happiness for my kids and all the other kids and people in the United States are the people who are the new millionaires. For they're the ones who go out and take the initiative to bring a better service or product at a lower price to millions more consumers. So when I say I sincerely wish that you become one of the 10 million millionaires, I don't just mean it like I'd like to see you get rich. I'd like to see you go add to the U.S. economy to have a better life, because that's what's going to happen if you become one of the next 10 million millionaires. You greatly improve the lives of everyone in our great nation and everyone in your local community. I wrote the book, The Next Millionaires, to bring it down to an individual level. Because to sit here and tell you that household wealth is going from 48 trillion to 100 trillion is a ho-hum number. Or that the U.S. gross domestic product is going from $13 trillion a year, 14 trillion to 25 trillion, you go, oh, okay, that's good. But when I start talking about individuals and that there'll be 10 million people making $1 million new net worth in the next 10 years, that's when you can relate to it. Now I understand why I need to take action now to do something to make sure I'm one of the next 10 million millionaires, as opposed to worried about gross domestic product or household wealth or all the other things economists like me love to deal with. As an economist, we deal with the billions or trillions of growth in our economy. But people aren't worried about the economy, they're worried about their economy. More than anything else, what can they do in this new economy? How can they succeed and take care of their families? We are entering an era right now that there will be 10 million new millionaires created in the United States in just the next 10 years. And I find when I bring it down to that personal level, the numbers take on a whole new dimension. For people can now see in the trillions of household wealth or trillions of gross domestic product, more importantly, where they fit, where their opportunity is, what they're doing now, and how they can become one of the next 10 million millionaires about to be created in the United States.
Well, Paul, you have really opened my eyes to what could be a bright new future. I know that I would certainly love to be one of those next 10 million millionaires. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
It is our sincere hope you enjoyed listening to this interview with best-selling author, professor, economist, and multimillionaire businessperson Paul Zane Philzer. For information on starting a new business, please contact the person